Welcome to Return to Aya, the podcast. My name is Dorien Joken. We will talk about how you can break out of old patterns, transform your mindset, and align yourself with your best life. All right, welcome to this 5th episode of the Return to Aya podcast. And today I'd like to talk a little bit more about my own story, about the story of how Return to Aya came into form, what actually is the meaning of it, and how it is connected to my own experiences and my own healing journey. And I must say, for me, this is very, truly, deeply, it goes really into the deepest core of my identity of who I am, because it is so connected to all the experiences that hurt me deeply, but also shaped me fully into the person that I am today. And this is a paradox also, because the return to Aya is a returning back to yourself. And the very thing that I journaled on this very morning was something like, I actually feel today like the version of myself that I was when I was 17 years old. And this is so crazy. And it's not that I'm this immature, childlike self right now. That's not what I mean. I mean more in the way of I feel so free, I feel so full, I feel so with all the layers of experiences that I had between my 17-year-old self and my 31-year-old self of today. I feel like I am so much wiser, so much richer in my whole story. But apart from that, I also returned to this playful, to this fulfilled self that I was back then. And I was really happy and satisfied on my own, because back then, before that, I didn't have boyfriends, I didn't have this, I didn't have that. I was really alone. Like before your adult life started, before your trauma started, that's how I feel right now. Like, because in this 10-year or more long journey, I completely discovered myself. I dove deeply into my traumas and my experiences. Up until now, I can say, okay, I've been through it all. I took the long journey to discover every deep part of me. And yeah, probably this healing journey is not ended yet, right? It's a never ending story of self-discovery, but I feel like I've been through the deepest, darkest parts of me. And now I can say, okay, I can fully accept and love myself truly. I really love this version that I am today. And I just wish for everybody, because all human beings have their own stories. All human beings have their own traumas, their own insecurities, everything that shape you, who you are. And the key is not to be the victim of that, not become like the victim of your problems, not become the victim of your of the things that happened to you, but alchemize this pain into your biggest assets, into your biggest strengths, and use that to go through your life and to face life and your challenges head on, because the deepest pains become your biggest strengths if you want to, if you make them, if you let them. And that is the alchemy process of Return to Aya, to remember who you are, and to not be afraid to face those wounds, and to dive into them, explore them, and feel them. Because when we become the victim of our problems and our issues, it is also because we are suppressing them down, because we are afraid to see them. It's because if we don't face them, then we let our problems, our pains, our wounds run our lives, because they operate on a subconscious level. And this is where all the practices and all the tools come in that I love to use in my coaching, that I love to use in my yoga classes, in my coaching, in my retreats, So you can dive into your deep unconsciousness to discover those patterns, to discover that programming, how your brain is programmed with your experiences, with everything that you've learned, with all the things that other people tell you how to live your life. That is how you operate in the world. If you accept it, if you don't face it, that's basically how you go through life, even if it's not your authentic self. And the key is, in my opinion, to uncover all those layers that have been laid on top of you, onto your authentic self, onto that, pure light that you naturally are, that everyone naturally is born with. But a part of becoming an adult, a part of being raised as a child is your parents, society, everybody is telling you who you should be so you can be the best person who is able to operate in this system. And when you become an adult, it's up to you to decide, is this who I truly want to be? Is this who I truly am? Is this actually me? Maybe you ask this question yourself, maybe not. But maybe you have these questions inside of yourself, maybe not. It's like, do you feel aligned with the version of yourself that you're living like right now? Or do you feel like you're wearing a lot of masks, that you have to be all of these things and it's just tiring? Maybe you're even hearing this inner voice inside, like, I actually have these big dreams and I never gave it an opportunity, because you're like, I don't even know that it's an option, because society has such big expectations for ourselves to be the mom, be the dad, be the brother, be the sister, be the and all of these roles. You are expected to do all these different roles perfectly, right? There's so much pressure in our society. And has it ever occurred to you that you can choose differently? You can choose to not go in that direction, but to choose for yourself. Do I actually want to be this version of me, or do I want to rediscover what the real me actually wants? What this inner voice is actually guiding me to? Do I want to listen to that? Do I have the courage to step into the unknown and leave the known behind? Metaphorically, you don't have to step out of your life. Like, it's not that you have to leave your friends, leave your parents, everything actually behind physically, but in kind of a way you just decide to take a different road, and it leads you to different places, to different experiences, to different people, everything that will show you and guide you back to the version that you were before life made you into this warrior. And I know I don't speak for everyone, but to the ones who this resonates with, you know what I mean. You know who you are. You have been through so many things. It started at a certain point in your life that life just threw these challenges at you. Life just made it hard for you. Life closed doors upon you, and it had its effect on you. It shaped you, who you are, and you have to reflect for yourself. How did you cope with all this? Were you the leader, or were you the victim? And maybe you are still the victim. Maybe you are the leader. Maybe you are the person who just lets the flow of life dragged you with it. And you were stuck in negativity. You were stuck in victim blaming. You were stuck in like pointing at everyone, like it's everyone's fault. It's the fault of society. Instead of pointing at yourself and taking responsibility for all that, because in the end, it's us who has a control over how we deal with all this. In the end, it's us who has a control over how we choose to respond to it. Like, do we choose to let these circumstances define who we are, or do we choose to be above that and be the leader of that and say like, no, I'm taking full responsibility of what is going on, and I take full responsibility of choosing now how to react to it, and if I stay in this circumstance or choose a different path. And it takes something, it takes this courage, it takes this positive energy, this positive mindset. It takes a lot of things to be above all that, above all the pain, above all the sorrow, above all the wounds that are here at stake, and to not be defined or let yourself be defined by what has happened to you, but choose differently, choose better. And I feel like the tipping point between these two is also, first of all, the amount of pain that you have experienced. Like if you are in this turmoil of like constant challenges, it's easy sometimes to be dragged down. It takes a lot of energy to remain positive sometimes. First of all, I think it's something biologically as well. If you have a positive mindset, it's something that you learned as well. In which environment did you grow up? How resilient are you? But sometimes a person can only take so much, and then at the end, or like right in the middle, right at rock bottom, you are like, I'm not taking this no more. It has to change. And also, I love this saying, like, sometimes your fear of staying stuck needs to become bigger than the fear of the unknown. And that point, that turning point, is when you start to make other choices, when you decide for yourself, like, okay, now I'm going into this direction and I'm doing it my way, instead of all those rules that society and parents and family and friends are laying out in front of me of how I should live, how I should behave. And it never fits you at all, because you had all these challenges, you had all these closed doors. And how many times do you need the same lesson over and over again? Like Einstein, he said, like a true fool or a true crazy person is someone who tries the same strategy over and over and over again and expects different results. And I truly feel in this, like I've been here, this is one big part of my journey. For years, I tried the same strategies. I tried the 9-to-5 jobs. I tried to fit in. I tried to stay in. I tried, like, in Belgium, where I'm from, we have this saying, like, I tried to have a job, have a house, have a partner, have a child, have a tree, have a pet kind of strategy, like kind of path, you know. And it never served me. It never served me. I had trouble with keeping my jobs. I had trouble with having healthy partnerships. I had trouble with just being happy and fulfilled. I wasn't me. I wasn't myself. I was literally a warrior. Because of all the setbacks that I had, I turned into this warrior with a closed heart, not open for love, or not open for, I was so closed off because life had made me a warrior with all these setbacks, with all this hurt, with all this pain. And I was just trying to move through doors that were never meant to be open. I was trying to move through doors that were never meant to open up for me. Can you imagine? Can you imagine also the outcome of that? Like when you try to work yourself through a door that was never meant to open, and now you're on the other side of the door. How would that life look like? It's just a constant struggle. That's what my life looked like for so many years. And I was just trying to do what everyone else was doing and what people around me told me to do. But where was me? Where was I in that story? Where were my desires? Where was my authenticity? Where were my dreams? Where was my personality even? It was buried so far under the ground. And at one point, my relationship fell apart. I really experienced this ego death. Everything fell apart, like my jobs, my my family fell apart, my jobs fell apart, everything fell apart. And then I started to question myself, why am I making it so hard on myself? Because in the end, you are the one choosing. You are thinking you're doing the right thing because you think on the outside it looks great, but in the end you are choosing for yourself something that you don't want to, and something you don't want, you're still choosing. You're still choosing the things you don't want instead of what you want. And in the end, the real victim, not in a negative way, but like the person who will pay the bill is still you. So why are you doing this to yourself? In the end, it's always you who is the reason of your suffering. That's something that I really learned in my journey. And then when you hit rock bottom, when this fear of staying in the same place becomes bigger than the unknown, that's when everything shifts. At least for me, that's when everything shifted, and I was like, okay, from now on, I'm not doing it the way other people want it for me anymore, because one, it's not working, two, I'm super unhappy, and three, this is fucking my life. This is my life, and I want to make my own decisions. And from then on, I stepped into a new version of myself. First, I went through a big depression. I really went through a couple months of full depression, laying on the couch. I was not able to do anything at all, but this gave me the strength and the power to step into this new version of myself, who was going to do things differently this time, in my own way, because I didn't have the strength or power or even a single thought in my mind that was thinking of going back to my old life, and I still haven't. Until today, I'm like, if I have to go back through my old life, I don't want it. I really don't want it. I really don't want to live that life again any longer. So from now on, it's my way or the highway. And this is really what you need. You really need to have this full certainty for yourself. Like, okay, now I have to do it in another way, in my own way, to make big changes happen. And on this path, I'm not going to say that it was easy for me either. I'm not going to say that this has made my life much easier for me, but it was my path. And for your path, you're willing to go through fire. You're willing to move mountains so much more, because it's your path, it's your authentic path, and it's fulfilling your desires. So every win will make you so much more confident in yourself, so much more trusting in yourself. And at one point you're starting to believe that everything is possible, that you can really build anything you want in your life, because you're building your trust, you're walking your own path, you're honest with yourself. Especially this, you're truly honest with yourself about what you want, about where you're going, and this is more valuable to me than anything else in my life. So I came out of this rat race. I came out of my struggle to step into my own struggle, which is way more valuable and way more authentic to myself. And it took me on a journey. It took me on a journey, first of all, within myself. I became a yoga teacher. I started to do all these healing practices, breath work, tantra. I really got introduced to a new kind of way of life also, which brought all my soul family persons into my life. Like, once you start to be honest with yourself, once you decide to be more authentic in your life, it will attract the right persons as well into your life, because it's about your energy that you are radiating. You become radiant. You become like a magnet for people that are like-minded as you and belong in your life. And this is really beautiful. This is so beautiful. Basically, your whole life shifts once you make the decision to step one step into your own journey. Then all the world has to shift. This is also what manifesting is about. Once you decide to become one person, then the whole world moves around you and assures, like, okay, then you are this person, so the universe has to move with you. It's like this quantum physics thing. And with that, persons came into my life, I started to tune in more with my intuition. My intuition guides me now to where I need to go, to where I'm going, to all the places, all the things. And I trust myself more than ever that I am able to make it happen, to make it work. Even if my bank account says otherwise, even if I feel like, oh, I haven't worked for so long, I haven't this, I haven't that. But I'm so certain of myself that I want to build a certain life, that I want to break free from the 9 to 5. I want to help people, to serve people. And this desire, this energy that I put into this has brought me so far, and here I am building my business and it's working well, like I'm doing great. And it's not perfect. I'm not yet where I want to be, but I'm so in love with the process of that. And that's the most important thing. I've been through years of transforming. I've been through years of healing. I've been through so many different practices and tools and places around the world and communities around the world. And I've been in touch with so many different people that I learned so much about myself, that I learned so much about what kind of people I want in my life. That I learned so much about the deepest pains that are residing in myself, and also about the stories that really hurt me in my past and really shaped me into the woman that I am today, but also about the triggers that once ruled my life and that I learned how to transform into my greatest powers, and also how to be a better communicator, be a better friend, be a better sister, be a better daughter. It made me realize that it's all within my control, within my reach. When I become the sovereign of my life, when I become the leader of my life, then I'll be a much better person to myself, because I'm truthful with myself, but also become a much better partner, friend, lover, everything else. Because I come from this wholeness, because I went on this deep healing journey, and I'm not defined by my wounds anymore. No, I'm stepping above that. And from that wholeness, from that full cup, I can give to others. And I'm so overflowing that I have the energy to do that. If you're not working on yourself, if you're not doing the healing journey, if you don't take that path and you stay in that suffering, then your glass may be half full, and you try to be a lover, you try to be a friend, but you're always, you're just tired, you're just empty. And it's so important that you give to yourself first, that you also give yourself the self-love that you need, that you don't just take it for granted that you have to be all those roles, and that you give, and that you hardly get something into return, especially if you're not walking your authentic path, if you're walking someone else's path, if you're living someone else's life. It's just tiring. And believe me, it's not even worth it. You have one life, you have a limited amount of time here, and you are stuck in your old ways. You are stuck into a life that doesn't belong to you. Is that what you want for yourself? This is really a question you have to ask yourself. Like, how much do you want to pay of your days to a life that you don't want? What you don't change, you choose. So you literally say to yourself that you just don't deserve happiness. You literally say to yourself, like, I don't deserve my dream life. I don't deserve my dream partner. And I rather settle for this bad partner, for this bad job. I'm being very harsh right now. Like, I'm not meaning this into extremes, but in certain cases of people who listen, it is this extreme. You are settling now for what you choose. Let that sink in. You are settling now for what you choose. If you ask yourself the question, is this person, this job, this place, this home, whatever, that I'm settling for right now, is this in my highest good? Would you say it is? Or do you feel like you're stealing this opportunity for yourself to have a more happy, fulfilled life, partnership, job, whatever, where you are an even better version of yourself, where you're even thriving more, where you can be radiating, where you can become magnetic, where you can be your fullest loving self? to yourself and to others? That's really an important question you have to ask. And Return to Aya is this whole journey from when you're this wounded inner child, when you're this wounded version of yourself where you need attention, where you really need love, you're trying to search everything outside of yourself. How can you find this wholeness again within? By getting to learn who you are, by getting to learn what you love, by getting to learn about what you need in order to step fully into your full authentic self and build a life that is aligned to that around you. If you are ready to remember who the F you are and return home, find that peace, find that safety within yourself that allows you to be the best partner, to be the best friend, to be the best lover, to be the best in your job, in what you do, in freedom, because it's your choice. It is your decision. It is your life. Then you are so much where you need to be. Welcome to Return to Aya. Thanks for listening today. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day and see you again next week.